you watch a movie or a film about romance, especially heartbreak romance, one of the things that resonates with everyone, or what I think the filmmakers like to center their films about, is romance through the forms of loss. Damn, I'm out of breath. Today, I just watched Anna Magdalena, the Hong Kong 1998 film. It's a story about a guy who essentially never confesses his love until the end. And another film that I think about is In the Mood for Love, which is probably like the same thing. Yeah. 500 Days of Summer, and it's about a guy who loves a girl and thinks he's gonna marry her or something like that. And these other films, like, by the way, these are like films that I hand selected. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Her, and La La Land. And these are all movies where the expression of romance exists through loss. When something is to be lost, because when something is to be lost, you'll do everything to save for it if it means anything to you. And I guess within all these movies, the other thing that unifies all of them is also this hope of something new. Like, this hope of a fantasy, an idealization. And by the way, the only exception to this, I think, is Her, but I haven't watched Her, or the guy's film version of it. And it just got me thinking in general about love. Throughout the film, Anna Magdalena, or at least near the end, there is a fantasy sequence that plays where Takashi Kaneshiro and Kelly Chen are together in almost a perfect harmony, like synchronized ballet steps. And they're exploring the world, living this fantasy lifestyle, away from societal conventions, free from judgment. And I guess the main word I would describe it as the feeling of freedom. And I know it's such a childish concept to revisit. Well, this guy, Takashi Kaneshiro, actually in the movie, loves a girl in the movie and like dreams about her. And then like this other dude, his roommate, is literally fucking on her. And it's just like, there's this gross division between reality and fantasy. And yet, Kaneshiro still confesses through this beautifully written and constructed novel. The adventures he and her go on, the chemistry, and when you're back in the real world, it feels soul-crushing. Because in the end, the guy asks him why he doesn't confess, and what it feels like is a lack of mutual understanding, a lack of commonality, or the understanding of what he feels. And I know, like, women probably go through the same thing of wanting the guy of her dreams, and instead of getting a random chud who plays Fortnite for like 8 hours a day, or not even getting the love that they want at the end of the day. And I'm reminded of how the purest form of love, the one you dream about, the person whose smile brightens up your day, the Mokhi to your Takashi Kaneshiro, might not really exist. And well, what does that mean? And well, what I think is that I don't really need that love to exist. I don't need someone to bathe me in love or to smile at me like those ridiculous rom-com movies. And we're all so focused on this ideal love, the one that solves all your problems, instead of just facing our problems. Or at least some people like me. I think I used to believe in a love that bathes you or whatever the fuck, but then at the end of the day, at least you're not the homeless guy sitting at the road begging you for $2. And I know it's like not a great perspective to have because it's one that requires another person to be suffering to exist, but it is true at the moment. And when I think about real love, I'm brought to my parents. As a kid, there's always been a disparity between parental love and the love in those romance movies. With parents, it's like there's these mishaps, fighting, arguing, and then the recovery. But in movies, it's like, oh my god, I want to give you orgasms like every day or some shit like that. Growing up, pretty much right now, what I think is that at least we have a house to argue in. At least we're arguing at the dinner table. You know what I mean? It's like the arguments took a different form for me. The arguments aren't the problem. In fact, I think they are the love. And there's a quote I remember from Keanu Reeves, who he said subsequently was cringe, was that something about how love fights. And to me, when I think about that quote now, it becomes clearer and clearer. It's not like a fight, like you're not gonna beat the shit out of your partner, but it's like a negotiation. It's a fluid power dynamic. And it's an ever-shifting playing field where you and your partner decide what happens next and what you want to build. It's not like a fantasy dimension where you and your problems suddenly don't exist. If that were the case, everyone would probably be married to their first romantic partner. But actually, it's better than that. It's because it's grounded in reality. It's a game, a plot of land where you and your partner climb the steps together, upwards, downwards, or wherever the fuck you decide. And that experience is a love, and it's the life that you guys created. I think that the ups and the downs, the arguments, and then the lovemaking or whatever you guys want to call it, it is the fun. Enjoy the downs and enjoy your ups more, I think. You can't really enjoy your downs because you're just gonna get fucked in the ass and take it anyways. And when I think about it, Having a kid is probably one of the most beautiful things you can do. And I think I really understand why people have kids when they grow up and get married. It's not about lust, and I know that now because if you have lust in a kid, you can send his ass to foster care and like abandon and not care about his ass. It's about love. And with enough love and trust built, the merging between you and your partner that you do creates this proof of life, this baby which represents and affirms the style and the unique definition of love that you guys hold. And yeah, anyways, I think this is what I think about love right now. Like romantic love is something that probably exists when you put your full commitment and effort. And I don't really want to think about that in a personal standpoint because that commitment doesn't really sound fun right now. But it's a nice idea to have just because it's so beautiful to think about when you lived and you said and done everything.